Hello there. I see you replied to my email, which tells me you're open to the idea of bringing in more clients for your company outside of referrals. So I put together this quick video to show you exactly how we do that and why it works. I'll keep it direct and respect your time. Before I get into the specifics of what we do, I want to make the case for the channel itself because if you're going to invest in lead generation, the first decision is where to play. And I want you to walk away from this video completely convinced that cold email is the right answer. Not because I'm selling it, but because the data is obvious when you look at it. Think about the largest B2B companies in the world. IBM, Microsoft, Amazon, Salesforce, HubSpot, Oracle. These are companies doing hundreds of millions, some doing tens of billions in revenue every year. What do they all have in common when it comes to generating new business? They send cold emails. Millions of them. They hire entire teams, dedicated SDR teams, business development reps, outbound specialists, whose only job, day in and day out, is cold outreach. That is not a small line item. We're talking about departments of 50, 100, sometimes 200 people whose sole function is to send cold emails and book meetings. These companies spend millions of dollars a year on this activity alone. Now, here's a question I want you to sit with. Do you think IBM makes bad business decisions? Do you think Salesforce, a company that literally built the modern CRM industry, doesn't know how to generate leads? These companies have access to every marketing channel on the planet. They could run ads. They could go all in on content. They could hire influencers. They could sponsor every industry conference in existence. And they do some of those things. But they never stop sending cold emails. They never shut down their outbound teams. They keep investing year after year because it works. You don't have to take my word for it. Look this up yourself. Pull up any of those companies' job boards and look for SDR or outbound roles. They are always hiring. If it works for the companies making billions of dollars a year, there's absolutely no reason it won't work for your company. The channel is proven at the highest level of B2B sales. The only question is execution. And that's what the rest of this video is about. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, I've tried cold emails before. It didn't work. I sent emails. I got nothing. And I moved on. And if that's you, I completely understand the skepticism. But I want to address that directly because the reason most agency owners fail at cold email has nothing to do with the channel. It has everything to do with the strategy they use. And the strategy most people are running is 2 to 3 years out of date. Here's what happened. Between 2020 and 2022, cold email was genuinely easier. Deliverability was more forgiving. Open rates were trackable. Inboxes were less crowded. A decent template sent to a few hundred leads a week could produce results. So a lot of people built their own cold email playbooks during that window, and those playbooks got passed around, turned into courses, turned into YouTube tutorials, and became the default approach that most small businesses still use today. Then the market shifted. Apple released Mail Privacy Protection, which broke open rate tracking as a reliable signal. Google rolled out major spam filtering updates that made deliverability significantly harder for anyone sending from a single domain at volume. On top of that, the sheer number of cold emails hitting decision makers' inboxes exploded because everyone watched the same YouTube videos and started running the same templates. The result is that the average brand owner or DTC founder today gets flooded with generic cold emails that all sound identical. The "I hope this finds you well" opener, the 2-sentence pitch, the "would you be open to a quick call" close, they've seen it 1,000 times. It goes straight to the bin. Agencies still running those 2022 playbooks, sending 50 generic emails a week from one domain, tracking open rates using the same 3 templates. Those are the ones telling everyone cold email is dead. And I understand why they feel that way. Their results are terrible. But the channel isn't dead. Their strategy is dead. What works right now in 2026 is a completely different model. It's built on three things working together: high volume, high relevance, and genuine personalization. High volume means you're reaching out to your entire addressable market, not 50 leads a week, but the full universe of brand owners and DTC founders who could realistically become clients of your company. Volume matters because it negates luck. When you're only reaching out to a small number of people, your results are dominated by random variance. When you're reaching the full market, you get signal. You find the people who are actively looking, actively frustrated with their current situation, actively ready to have a conversation. But this is actually critical. Volume without relevance is just spam. We are not spammers. Every single email we send is relevant to the specific person receiving it. We're not blasting a generic pitch to a list. We're identifying the right decision makers, brand owners, e-commerce founders, and DTC operators, researching what's actually going on with their business and sending them a message that speaks directly to their situation. When you combine volume with that level of relevance and personalization, you stop looking like a cold email and you start looking like a timely, useful message from someone who actually did their homework. That combination is what produces booked calls consistently. Agencies running this model are booking 10 to 30 qualified calls a month. The ones still running the 2022 playbooks are booking zero and blaming the channel. So if you tried cold email before and it didn't work, the strategy was the problem. Not you, not your offer, not cold email as a channel. The playbook was just outdated, and that's fixable. Now here's where I want to be honest with you about something. Everything I just described, the infrastructure, the list building, the personalization, the deliverability management, the sending system, it's genuinely a full-time job. I don't say that to scare you. I say it because I want you to understand what's actually involved so you can make a clear-eyed decision about how to approach this. Running a proper cold email system in 2026 means managing domain setup and rotation, because you can't send high volume from a single domain without destroying your deliverability. It means inbox warm-up protocols. It means building and segmenting lead lists by the right criteria. It means writing copy that converts, not just one template, but sequences, variations, follow-ups, testing. It means monitoring deliverability metrics daily and adjusting when something fits. It means managing replies, because when someone replies, that response needs to be handled quickly and correctly, or the opportunity dies. Every one of those things is its own skill set. Every one of them requires ongoing attention. As the owner of your company, your time is genuinely worth more than that. Your job is to close deals, manage client relationships, build a team, and make strategic decisions. Those are the activities that actually move the business forward. The cold email infrastructure is important, but it's execution work, not leadership work. The best use of your time is to be on the business, not in the trenches building, sending infrastructure, and debugging deliverability issues. Look at how the largest B2B companies handle this. The founders of Salesforce, HubSpot, Oracle, they're not personally sending cold emails. They built teams or they hired partners to handle outbound execution because they understood that the highest leverage thing a founder can do is not low level execution. It's vision, it's relationship, it's closing. Now, you might be thinking about the do it yourself path. Maybe you're considering buying a course, watching some YouTube videos, figuring it out yourself. I respect that instinct. Most agency owners are resourceful people who've built their businesses by figuring things out. But here's the realistic timeline. You spend 2 to 4 weeks just learning the tool stack, the sending platforms, the list building tools, the deliverability monitors, then another 2 to 4 weeks setting up everything and warming your domains. Then you start sending and spend the next month troubleshooting why your emails are landing in spam. Best case, you're looking at 3 months before you have a system that's actually working. Worst case, you burn your domains, conclude cold emails don't work, and you're back to square one. Except now you're 3 months behind and several $1,000s higher. Or maybe you're thinking about hiring an SDR, a dedicated outbound rep. That's a legitimate path. But let's be clear about what it costs. A decent SDR in 2026 is going to run you $5,000 to $8,000 a month in base salary before you factor in tools, benefits, management time, and ramp period. And that's assuming you hire someone good, which is not guaranteed. Most SDRs come in without a proven playbook, which means you're paying them to figure it out on your dime. SDR turnover is notoriously high. You could be back to square one 6 months later with nothing to show for it. The done for you path is different. You're not paying for someone to learn. You're paying for a system that's already built, already tested, and already working. So let me tell you specifically why working with us makes sense for your company and what makes us different from the other options you might be considering. We work specifically with marketing agencies, not SaaS companies, not law firms, not e-commerce brands. We work specifically with marketing agencies. That specificity matters more than it sounds. We know who buys from marketing agencies. We know the decision makers, brand owners, DTC founders, heads of growth at e-commerce companies. We know what language resonates with them, what pain points make them respond, what a compelling offer looks like from their perspective. We've built the list, refined the copy, and dialed in the sequences for this exact niche. You're not paying us to figure that out. We've already done it. What that means practically is that when we run your campaign, we're not starting from scratch. We're applying a playbook that's been refined specifically for agencies like your company, targeting exactly the kind of clients you want. Brand owners and e-commerce founders who are looking for a marketing partner. The goal is to get you 5 to 10 qualified discovery calls per month with those exact decision makers, not tire kickers, not random leads, qualified conversations with people who have a real need and real budget. Here's the part that matters most. This is performance based. You only pay when we deliver book calls. We don't charge you a large upfront retainer to run campaigns that might or might not produce results. We get paid when you get calls. That means our incentive is completely aligned with yours. We don't win unless you win. For an agency doing 600K to 1.2 million a year on referrals, adding 5 to 10 qualified discovery calls a month is a genuine growth lever. Not because referrals are bad, but because referrals alone have a ceiling. You can't control timing. You can't control the volume and when a retainer client churns. Oh, and one will. Every quarter, you have no active pipeline to replace them. What we are building for you is an outbound channel, right? It runs parallel to your referrals, so you're never again in a position where one client churning is a 15 to 20% revenue drop and a 4-week scramble back to your personal network. We handle everything: domain setup, inbox warm-up, list building, copywriting, sending deliverability monitoring, reply management. You don't touch the infrastructure. You just show up to the book calls. So, if everything I've said makes sense to you, the next step is simple. Book a call with me. It's 15 to 20 minutes. We'll talk about your company, where your pipeline is right now, what your ideal client looks like, and whether what we do is actually a fit for your situation. I'm not going to pitch you hard on the call. If it's a fit, I'll tell you how it works and what it costs. If it's not a fit, if your situation isn't right for what we do, I'll tell you that straight up. No pressure either way. And I understand you might have some objections to some things that were said in this video. So I just want to clear it up for you. with a few responses. So maybe one objection might be, you may have tried cold emails before, but it just showed up in spam and junk folders. Well, my response would be targeted lists and personalization reduce spam. Another objection you might have is maybe low deliverability. My response would be warm up, sender reputation fixes the deliverability issues. Another objection might be you have poor response rates. My response would be volume and testing and sequencing improves return on investment. Volume is always a necessity. Another objection you may have could be maybe some compliance risk issues you may have dealt with. My response with we follow the regional rules and maintain opt-out lists. Another objection might be it's too expensive to scale. Maybe it's out of your budget. My response would be automation plus the playbooks that we offer lower the marginal cost. And maybe another objection of yours might be quality of leads. My response, SDR qualification and intent data improve fit. Now, before you go, let me quickly answer the 3 questions I get most often. First, how long until you see results? Most clients start seeing book calls within the first 30 to 45 days. Full ramp, where the system is firing consistently, is typically 60 to 90 days. Second, what if it doesn't work? The model is performance-based. You're not paying for effort, you're paying for results. We don't deliver booked calls, you don't pay. Third, how much of your time does this take? Less than an hour a week. You review what we're sending you. You show up to the calls we book, that's it. We handle everything in between. The calendar link is right below this video. Just pick a time that works for you this week or next. Looking forward to chatting with you. Book a time below, and I'll talk to you soon.